All right, it's a very interesting morning. Behind the cameras, we were celebrating and just trying to groove to the twins we had from Igwe in the studio.
Yes, we have an Igwe in the studio, and we're going to be cooking a lot of Ewa Ibeji.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
You know what that is?
Ewa. I know Ewa because of Ewa going, so
yes.
I'm very familiar with
There's
that.
There's this Yoruba cultural thing.
All right.
You know, when you give birth to twins, you give them a lot of beans. I still don't know why.
Anyway, but it's fine. As far as they like it, you know.
Absolutely.
Igwe, congratulations. Igwe is one of our cameramen here, and he really twins. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Taking after you, of course.
Yeah, taking after me. But anyway, mine wasn't twins, but maybe I'll have to take after him afterwards. Let's move to the paper review now. Interesting headlines, interesting on the negative side, interesting from all controversial sides, interesting from anywhere you want to see it. But they are all getting your attention this morning. And we have joining us Dr. John, leadership strategist, joining us in the studio. Dr. good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
I hope you had a great weekend.
Good to see you.
Wonderful.
Great.
Except for the loss of the Super Eagles.
Yeah, that was really.
But were you guys really expecting anything other than that?
When it came
usually don't do too well against any North African
countries.
But not to the point of having a 4-0.
4-0 is too much. But besides that, we've not gotten to this level before in Chan. Finals was beautiful. But if you check the tactical play, our boys were nowhere, they were nowhere near the Moroccans.
I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. We start with the Punch newspaper this morning now. Relocate to Kano. Governor Ganduje tells herdsmen, herders in bloody clash with Adamawa residents. Now, this is a new dimension now, the way things are going, that even when the president has said we will not take this anymore, police IGP has taken steps to ensure this doesn't happen anymore. But then, it's still happening. So, Governor of Kano State is coming with a solution now. Yeah,
if you look at the number of herders we have in Nigeria, Kano State may not be able to accommodate every one of them. But again, if every state can actually make provision for their citizens that are into this business, then I think we're going to have at least a temporary solution. The game resort that the government is talking about at least conveniently should be able to house about 1 million cattle. And that's a lot, because if you look at the place, it cuts across about 3 local governments, about 1,000 square kilometers. So I think each state government should begin to think beyond what the federal government is doing at their own level, to think about how to solve this problem. Because by solving the problem, they are not only helping themselves or helping other citizens, they are also helping the federal government to at least overcome this seemingly impossible challenge.
But I do get your point. But when Governor Ganduje says all herdsmen outside Kano should come back home, and then you're saying, you're advising that states should provide some kind of grazing reserve or colony, if you like, for their own citizens that are into herding. Yeah. What kind of a country are we trying to create? And obviously, this is not going to solve the problem, is it?
Yes, we have
Are we not further going to, widen the fault lines? We have
never operated a united federation. We have never. Even the call for restructuring that people are returning to regionalism, is it not one kind of division? But the way we are now, it's clear that the federal government may not be able to solve the problem. I don't know why. But now, if we have a state governor who is saying, oh, I have a temporary solution before we go back to, it's going to also help the economy of his state. He's looking at all these possibilities. You understand? Come back home, come and develop my own economy. It's going to help the economy of his state. But I tell you, if every governor had been proactive, if we were not playing politics with this thing, then by now we should not be talking about another attack.
Well, Ganduje said he has sent about 60 of the people to Europe for training on ranching and all of that. So, but the head of the Mieti Allah Association in Benue State, in reaction to this, is saying, we are nomads. It's not possible for all of us to come back to Kano. And moreover, Kano State doesn't have majority of the herders in that context. So are we coming there to stay as indigents, or coming to stay there as squatters?
That is why I try to narrow down the submission of the governor down to his citizen. And I want all other state governors to actually to that step. I know
I think he was just contributing.
Yes, I know Miyetti Allah will not agree. If you have studied the tone at which they discuss this issue, if they discuss it with some kind of arrogance, I know they will not even agree. The ones that are even from Kano, I know they will not agree to go home. Until we solve the problem of Miyetti Allah, we may not be able to solve this problem of killings.
So the question then is, how do we solve the problem? Is it Miyetti Allah problem or a herdsman problem or a herdsman farmers problem?
You know, when we're
how does this government really handle this?
When we're grown as toddlers, one of the things that actually shaped our character was the fact that when your parent is talking to you, another person from outside is actually supporting your parent.
Absolutely.
That's how he behaves. And you know there's no place to hide under any circumstance. But now if the government is saying we are going to deal with you, and Miyetti Allah is coming and saying, no, don't worry, we have connections in places that matter. So how are we going to solve the problem?
At the end of the day, all of this has been politicized. Everything is seen through ethnic or political eyes. Depends on where you belong.
As far as this issue is concerned, there is no rocket science to it. If the federal government wants to solve it, it has a way of solving it. If all the state governments want to solve it, they have a way of solving it, as far as I'm concerned. All right, we have confusion as IBB disowned statement on 2019 issued by spokesman, and then 202 million naira missing at NIA, not $44 million, says Reps panel. All right, these are some of the stories. Let's quickly
move on to this day. And of course, the big caption here, IBB speaks to this day, affirms statement, says Nigeria needs new breed of leaders. Says Buhari has right to contest, but era of analog leadership is over.
you know.
How did we get to the point where it is the military, according to respected Matthew Hassan Kuka, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, exactly. Said, you know, Nigeria has come to a sorry pass where generals, former generals, pardon me, are the ones that are telling us where to go or where not to go.
It's a sad reality. You know, I told you the philosophy of the light, that if your headlamp is not working very well at night and you are driving, you are at the mercy of the car in the front. You are not sure whether even the headlamp is working very well. So if the car veers right, you follow him. You are not even sure. That's the sorry state we are in now, because we think these people can actually see farther than we are seeing. But in reality, are they 21st century governors? Let me cite this scenario. The art of democracy is like this normal BRT route that you see on the road. They built that BRT route to make journey faster. That's the concept of democracy. We brought in democracy because we want development to be faster. But you know that if you take the BRT lane, there's hardly an exit point. Once you enter, you enter. Now, if a BRT vehicle breaks down in front, it becomes frustration for other people to pass. That is what we are having. Once we have a broken down leadership, then the people are going to be experiencing frustration. And that is where we are at the moment. Until we either throw the broken down leadership away or we find an escape route, we may not be able to solve this problem. That's why we continue to rely on former generals who may not necessarily have solutions. They do not have solutions.
And do we need former generals to tell us we need a fresh breed, new breed of Nigerians to take over the realms?
But if those who have the ideas are not coming forth, what do you expect? The point there is the statement credited to a former military president. He is stating the obvious. We know, but the point there is, it is not about saying it. Nigerians who have the ideas, who have the skills, who have the concept, who have all of the digital, if they're not coming forth,
what happens? I was listening to Chude Jidonwe, a very brilliant young man who actually was part of the team that packaged this particular administration, and he was like, look, he and his group went around the country. And one thing they found was, look, there are brilliant Nigerians out there, but the one thing that's missing, courage.
Exactly.
They seem to lack the courage to say, look, let's, throw ourselves up, present ourselves to take on the reins of leadership.
Where do we do the courage? Where? The school is supposed to mold you to a total person, but there's capacity collapse even within the university. So you get in there, you come out as half illiterate. more illiterate than you ever went to school. So these are some of the issues we have. But again, I'm not going to pass judgment on Nigerian youth and say they are not coming out. Let me start an example of the last election we had. An average Nigerian earns between 18,000, average Nigerian youth, 18,000 and 120,000. APC sold its expression of interest
18,000 and
120,000
as a range.
Yes, as a range. Now, APC sold its expression of interest form for 550,000 naira. That's for House of Assembly. PDP sold its own for 1.1 million naira. How do you actually want us to fit into the political system? So deliberately, these generals that we are talking about have built a political fence around their own interests to prevent other people from coming in.
Maybe this is the time for us to put on our thinking cap and begin to re-strategize. The point is, when you begin to use your personal money from your pocket to do politics, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. If you're able to get people who believe in your ideals or your ideologies to buy into it, even if, imagine if every young Nigerian puts in 1 naira into your campaign. Do you know how much that would be?
It's a lot of money.
But certainly you have to get to the level where they trust you and they have confidence in you to be able to bring out all the money.
And government has destroyed the art of believability.
Yeah, that's another another ball game altogether. Now, the Vanguard newspaper says, IBB, realignment of forces towards 2019, okay, but there's a condition there, calls for two-party system to solve political problems. You remember the days of NRC and SDP that he brought forth, whether he solved the issue or not, a little to the left and a little to the right. Now it says, I didn't issue a statement on Buhari. Now he's retracting that, or in fact he is saying he didn't come up with that at all. Now we have a Benue, 2 policemen, 4 others killed in gun battle with herdsmen. There seems to be the direction of attack towards security operatives now in Benue.
Yes, it's actually to challenge you because there are some complexities and complicities here and there. Initially, there were fears that some of the security men are actually involved in this. And those people who expressed that fear were to a certain degree right, because we continue to wonder. But now this is going to be a wake-up call that even the ordinary citizens are not just the mere target. Even the security personnel are now the target. So I am hoping that this is going to solve the problem, because I told you the other time that I grew in a police barrack. And once there's a robbery in town, they come to cry in the barracks and we will forget about it. But once a policeman is killed, Mike, within 3 days, they will fish out the killer.
But of course, the IG of police has given the marching orders to the CPs to do something about militias, armed militias in the country. This is a very interesting one here.
Yeah, of course. We have petrol smuggling, hoarding, pump adjustment, others worsen scarcity. We see these things every day.
Yes.
Every day, every day.
People are cutting corner. You know, in my entire neighborhood, the only filling station that was selling the normal price, it's not a Nigerian filling station. It's a Chinese this thing. So the last time I went there, I discovered that this man has jacked up from 145 to 185. He showed that he has learned some lessons from Nigerians. So either we like it or not, the major problem of Nigerians is Nigerians. So until we solve the problem at our own level, government may not be able to solve it.
Yeah. We have here hike in Lekki toll. Motorist commuters call for Ambode's intervention.
I wonder why, you know, Governor Ambode is not, it's not like this. Ordinarily, you know him to be a very proactive person. But it's going to be wrong for you to think that everybody that lives around that Aziz is a millionaire. And as a result of that, they can pay whatever. How many years is it going to take these people to recover, to recoup the money they spent on this road? So at this point, I just see it as an insult on injury, because Nigerians are going through enough struggle already. I do not want it at this point in time. Unfortunately, they talk about the alternative road, and you take the alternative road, you are like, really? Is this really an alternative road?
But then again, don't we have the habit of just wanting everything free? I mean, in other parts of the world, roads are tolled, and those monies are used to maintain the roads. I'm sure some people would want to shoot.
Yeah, of course. In fact, I think I can do that on their behalf. I think I can do that on their behalf. But the point there is, you see, the way the system runs here and the system runs there, certainly nothing is like they say. There's no free lunch anywhere.
Not even in Freetown.
You know, but the system works there. You see, like in Lagos, you can compare. You can see the sharp difference between how Lagos works and how so many other states in Nigeria work.
Doesn't that in itself speak for itself that Lagos seems to be working? I use seems, advisedly,
but
seems to be working. So whatever it would take for us to contribute to help Lagos continue to work, we should do.
But first thing first, to what you were saying earlier on, things have to work first. Because you're talking about putting this. They have to be there first before you're saying, okay, come and pay for this service and pay for that service. We're talking about the electricity tariffs all the while. Put prepaid meters for everyone, and then you can build them based on that. Not saying they should pay ahead of
Lagos State Governor, go fix the alternative route. Fix the alternative route and maybe create more alternative routes.
It will even have been better if we say we are paying to the Lagos State government because Lagos State government is working, so we are paying.
We're paying to LCC.
A capital.
That's a PPP.
That is why we need to continue to define this PPP.
No, it's PPP. Lagos State is aware of that, and it's a PPP.
It's PPP.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Thank you very much.
3 Ps.
All right. The nation, Boko Haram is defeated, says Army Chief.
Yay!
I'm a little bit confused because this will be how many times? In all honesty, when you talk about strategy, whether in war or in any other aspect of life, you get to understand that the war against terror is not a war of deadline. You do not set a deadline. It took some country 20 years, 30 years to actually totally defeat their
Some are still on since the past so many years.
I do not want a situation where you will give false hope, and at the end of the day, maybe they strike somewhere.
Yeah, but is it really about giving false hope or just, setting some kind of goals or targets so that when you get there, you're able to, stop and reassess?
Okay,
like my people say, about also, I go a mile.
Okay. I don't seem to know the meaning of that.
All right, interpret. No, interpret.
When you have run thus far, you stop at a point and you do some kind of reappraisal.
Okay. Now, when you are setting organizational goals, you set it within and with your staff. You call the military together and say, oh, this is where we are now, and this is where we want to be. And once you hit that target, then you can come out and say, oh, between so period of time and this time, this is what we have been able to do. It's not for you to come to the public space and set a target. And at the end of the day, if you do not meet it, then
anyway, we saw that the Operation Deep Punch 2 was quite successful.
Yes.
And the Punch 1 earlier on, I think a year ago or so, was also very successful. But this Deep Punch 2 now seemed to be the most successful in comparative terms. So
virtually
maybe with this now,
virtually all the operations under President Buhari. Virtually all of them have been successful in one area or the other. But what I'm not comfortable with is for you to come out and say that you have defeated Boko Haram. That's what I'm not comfortable with.
Maybe it's for psychological satisfaction and for psychological
defeat
of the terrorists.
With this kind of
people psychologically in Nigeria, the public, you can satisfy your men psychologically, but not us.
With this statement now, Nigerians, what they expect is that from tomorrow or from today, they don't want to hear any bomb blast anywhere anymore. And then the moment they hear that, they are going to come for you.
Okay, all right. Finally, I wonder how much of this VADES thing you understand. Banks to supply customers' data to tax authorities.
Yes, especially, I think, except for Lagos, you discover that if you look at the percentage of tax-paying citizens in Nigeria, you discover that many of them are in Lagos. And you continue to wonder, does it mean there are no companies here and there in other states? So if we have the data of especially some of these corporate organizations, if we have it with tax authorities, then they will, to a certain extent, they'll be able to measure how much you've got within 1 month and how much you should pay.
I think one of the major reasons why that is like that is because most of the corporate entities in Nigeria have their headquarters in Lagos.
Absolutely.
So if you have your headquarters in Lagos, and you have a branch in Kano, or you have a branch in Benue, as the case may be, it is what happens in Lagos that you're going to use to judge, assess the others.
Do you know legally, it is wrong for you to, if you leave, you are supposed to pay your tax where you live. So it's going to be wrong of any company to be paying tax in Lagos for people that are living in Ondo State, my state, for example.
But then again, my real issue here, the real question is, I mean, how do you draw the line between a bank customers' privacy and the bank supplying customers' data to tax authorities?
That is why when you get into the bank, you see an inscription that if you transfer an amount of money exceeding so that we have the obligation to actually report you to the authorities. So I think, especially for corporate organizations, I think because many of these people are not even citizens of Nigeria. They come to make money, they pay their staff. I see them. They pay their staff as low as 15,000 naira per month. And these people run an entire night shift. And at the end of the day, they pack the money, they go abroad. They don't get to pay tax.
Now, when it comes to authorities, there is no privacy to issues of authority and monies and all of that. So the banks, they have the right to send all the information on data about anyone saving monies in Nigeria to tax authorities, as far as that is concerned.
Especially when corruption has become a country.
Exactly. I don't think there's any privacy to that.
Dr. John,
thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you very much. Yeah. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing security issues. Stay with us now.